Okay, so here we go. So the Perth farce has ended. One day cricket reduces itself to a farce if something like this happens because a team is 16 overs, 50 for 4, and then all of a sudden you tell them 26 overs to play. India got 86 runs in the last 10, which is pretty decent by any stretch of imagination. But then the other team has a whole innings with 10 wickets in hand to finish it off with decent weather, better pitch. All of a sudden, it kind of becomes a very one sided, lopsided game. Bharat and Gargi joining me. Bharat, first to you. This is why maybe one day cricket has lost a bit of currency. Not taking anything away from Australia, much better today. Having said that, when it's 60, 16 overs, 50 for 4, pitch doing quite a bit, bounce, movement, etc., and then 26 over game, one side has to face the back, the rough end of the coin. Bharat.
See, but why one day cricket has lost relevance? I think there is a bigger picture to it. But when it comes to this particular game, one has to understand that there was a little bit of rain around. There was enough rain around, so there would have been enough moisture around, and with moisture around, the ball will definitely nip off the seam. And Australia obviously had the better pace attack for these conditions. So considering all that, yes, Australia were the better team, but in a rain-reduced game where the batsmen are coming in and then again going off, coming in, going off, coming in, going off, it can't be easy. So India won't read too much into this loss, and maybe in the next game they will perform better.
Yeah, I agree. And I've done a column today for tomorrow on the impatience of Indian fandom. All of a sudden you've seen Virat and Rohit one game and they're like castigated. Throw them out, time to retire, enough is enough, goodbye, time to get Jaiswal and Tilak. Where is all this coming from? Gargi, I mean, this impatience of Indian fandom gets to me. Shubman Gill, not good enough, tough pitches, whereas he scored. Virat and Rohit after one match, not good enough. Don't understand this one bit, Gargi.
I think everyone's jumping to conclusions. Every single person is jumping to conclusion at this point because, look, I tweeted in the mid innings that I will not be looking too deep into this batting performance because it's a stop-start game. Tell me, how do you pace your innings? How are you going to pace your innings if you never know how many overs you're supposed to play, whether the rain is going to come back or not, whether you're going to play a full 50 overs? It's very, very difficult to go out there, especially if it's an ODI, and pace your innings like that when it's a stop-start game. 26 overs. That's basically half of the amount of overs that were supposed to play. And then a lot of people hit back at me saying, oh, the first 3 wickets did not there was no rain when the first 3 wickets fell. I agree. The first 3 batters did not react very well to the surface and the conditions that pitch was offering. And also Mitchell Stark and Josh Hazelwood were bowling to perfection, so they lost their wickets. How do you, there are no excuses there, but at the same time you can't say that just because 2 batters who are returning after a long time. And it also raises the question of game time. Yes, it does. But if you're going to react this way for the first game that they play, then it's jumping to conclusion. I think you need to give them a few more matches before you make any sort of sweeping statements about their retirement and their careers being done. Next, who knows? Next match they'll come and hit centuries, and then you'll say, oh, they'll live on forever.
What retirement? I mean, Shreyas Iyer has also scored 10. Shubman Gill has scored 10. Who has scored except KL Rahul and Akshar Patel? Nobody. So everybody should go and retire. I mean, now somebody will say Shreyas Iyer and the short ball. Again, that same thing, Shreyas Iyer and the short ball. He's improved quite a bit against the short ball. Yes, the ball cramped him up and there was a bit of an edge. So fine. I mean, the problem with Indian fandom, Bharat, is this. That every time one game, it's just one game, and Rohit Sharma's ball could have got anybody out. We were mentioning in our work group about the bounce, about the carry on this surface, rain around. They've got the best use of the conditions. Shubman would have also bowled first. India could have also had Australia on the mat. All of a sudden, this entire impatience about, oh, get them out, it's time, give them a farewell, end of the chapter. Gill didn't get runs, Iyer didn't get runs. These two didn't get runs. It's just the start of a tour with so much rain around. Don't read too much. Fair enough. You've lost Australia, better team. Move on. Bharat, where do you stand on the batting effort? How are you reading into it?
You see, it was, yeah, you can point out to mistakes. With Rohit Sharma, I don't have a problem. That was definitely a very good delivery. With Virat Kohli, you can tell that even Fox Sports had that analysis that it now doesn't play short square of the wicket behind square of the wicket on the offside. Sometimes what happens is bowlers will bowl good length, back of length, and they will bowl a dangle carrot, full one, and that is where his cover drive is coming under a lot of pressure, because its cover drive has to score most of the runs now in these conditions, and that could have led to an issue. But still, he's not had much game time, so that I think is the main reason why he played that airy fairy drive. But outside of it, yes, Shubman Gill got out a strangle down the leg side. These things happen. Yes, maybe on tracks with bounce, it happens a lot more, but still, it's a kind of an unlucky dismissal. And rest of them, KL Rahul and Akshar Patel batted reasonably well. So I think in those conditions, 131 with the kind of bowling that Australia have, especially Stark and Hazelwood, I think that's the most India could have got. So we have to be a little bit sensible in the sense that we don't need to criticize everything that India have done today, and expect them to put up a better performance in the next match.
100%. I mean, 100%. There's absolutely no debate. Absolutely no debate that if you start jumping the gun, it's the toxic fandom that's speaking. I just don't understand where this is coming from. Rain, and had it been raining for another 30 more minutes, this game would have been called off, because 6 more overs either side meant that you wouldn't have a 20-over game. That's what it is. 26 overs, another 30 overs means 8 overs curtailed. You were just about 30-40 more minutes of rain meant this match would be called off. So that's the story of this particular game. And yes, one game later, more game time, and more game time not just for these two. That Rohit Sharma ball could have got anybody out. As Bharat said, could have got anybody out. Shreyas Iyer, that strangle will not happen every game. Shubman Gill down leg will not happen every game. Virat was a bad shot, will not happen every game. Calm down. I mean, give people time. And 130. See, under the circumstances, you can say freaking awesome you were making this point. It was a decent enough recovery. Having said that, when you're taking 130 in a 25-over kind of game with 10 wickets in hand, it's a no-brainer. It's become a better pitch. Australia will win. So that's what it is. I mean, what is a good total? You can't say it's a good total or a winning total. It's never a good total or a winning total. It's a respectable competitive score that, okay, you did not lose everybody for 100 runs. That's what it is. Australia was always supposed to win at the end of the first inning. Simple as that. Unless there was a collapse at the Australian end. I thought Arshdeep Singh had a pretty decent first spell. Gargi, your thoughts on that? The Indian bowling, people will come hard again at Harshit Rana. But I thought the Indian bowling was pretty standard, except even Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar, except that first ball wide. I thought Washington Sundar was also pretty decent.
Look, the Indian bowling, and we spoke about this when we got the team sheet, we knew that it was a little bit thin. The Indian pace department also ran a little bit thin, so it was bound to get tested. That being said, and not taking away any credit from Australia, but they needed less than run a ball to win the match. Okay, and they played it well. They played it smart. They let the game come to them. That Marsh and Phillip partnership, 50 runs. Yeah.
Hold on. Ajay Biswas, it's not about one game. If you saw them bat, they were clueless. They would have played the A game or domestic matches. They would have whatever. No one can be bigger than the game. What about Shreyas Iyer? How many times did he get beaten? One here, short ball, missed, outside off, multiple times. He's had game time. He scored 100 against Australia A in that India A series. Did he get too many? He got 10. How many times did Shreyas Iyer get beaten in that 10-run innings of his? 2 or 3 times. Rohit Sharma, except that kind of lofty shot over cover, I did not think Rohit Sharma looked that bad. He did not. That straight drive was perfect. So what are you talking about? They were completely clueless. If you compare the Shreyas Iyer innings with the Rohit Sharma innings, where do you stand? Nobody is saying they shouldn't have game time. Of course they should have game time. They could have played India A, but that is not an explanation. You don't go to Australia and replicate Kanpur. Perth, juicy, moisture, bounce, movement is not Kanpur. So it's not just about the two of them. It's also about Iyer. It's also about Gill and the entire top order. No one is bigger than the game. Who's saying anybody is bigger than the game? Where is this coming from? So and so is bigger than the game. This, that. Where is all this anger, rage, frustration coming from? I mean, totally don't understand this aspect of Indian fandom. Then why are you not criticizing Iyer and Gill? Both of them didn't get runs. Both of them are continuously playing cricket. Gill has played every format, 20, 20, 50 overs, test match cricket, got a nick, got out. So talk about them not having game time also. Gargi, sorry to have stopped you, but please go on.
No, that's what the point that I was making was, without a Jasprit Bumrah, without much meat in the pace bowling department, your bowling was always going to be tested. We knew that the second the team sheet was in our hands. And again, the point that I'm making is the fact that Australia needed less than run a ball to win the match. So it was almost as if the game was set up perfectly for Australia. And again, I am not looking too deep into this game because honestly, it was the first innings that set everything up for Australia. If India had a full 50 overs, who knows what could have happened? But that's not the case. First 3 wickets, yes, fell because of the juicy, tough conditions that the Perth pitch offers, and the fact that Mitchell Stark and Josh Hazelwood were bowling so well. So I'm not looking too deep into it. That being said, the points that I was making was the bowling lineup was always going to be tested. It got tested, and you ended up losing the match. But this stop-start game, it doesn't define how good a team is.
Amit, had Australia also batted first, what is this C team nonsense that you are talking about? What is this C team nonsense? I mean, I thought you are a discernible viewer. Mitchell Stark and Josh Hazelwood, that's when the game was done. That's when the game was done. Nathan Ellis is a pretty decent enough bowler. What is this C team you're talking about? Hazelwood, 2 wickets in the first spell. Mitchell Stark bowling from both ends with bounce, with juice, with moisture. Multiple stop starts, 4 stop starts between the first 16 to 18 overs. What is this C team are we talking about? I don't understand this. Where is this coming from? I mean, come on. Cubs C team absolutely Stark and Hazelwood starting the bowling against an attack on juicy conditions. C team. Oh. Anyway, Bharat, coming back, would you have done anything different? Can India, with all of these things, rain around and everything, conditions, etc., could you have done anything different that you want to see? Okay, these are the points. And I'm tired of hearing Gill doesn't score in import. If anything, this match was not important. Gill doesn't score in important games. This was the least important game of anything that India will play in the next 2 years. It was a rubbish game, let's put it that way. Because of Rohit and Virat, this series has significance. Otherwise, this series has zero significance. What is the importance of this game? Tell me. Bharat, your stand on Shubman Gill and this entire barrage that he keeps getting. Gill doesn't score in important matches.
Shubman Gill, I think, is in the midst of a fan war. That is what I can tell. Maybe because he's taken up the captaincy, so maybe couple of fandoms or couple of groups of who are fans of Rohit and Virat Kohli. I think they're the ones who really are going after him. Shubman Gill is a good player. He's a fine timer of the ball. In his own way, he's very talented. Yes, he has a problem or two against a nip packer, but tell me which batsman doesn't have a problem or doesn't have a weakness. Every batter has a weakness, so he also has a weakness. But still, under pressure, when India were 1 for 2 or on those lines in the Manchester Test, he did score 100. So it's not like he's never done well under pressure. Then you can tell that about any single batsman going around or any single sports person going around. Even the best in the business do fail occasionally, do choke. I have seen that even with the greats of the game in other fields as well. So yes, Shubman Gill, I think, is doing a reasonably good job as a captain so far, considering his inexperience. India did reasonably well in England, drew the Test series 2 also. He deserves a long rope. Just want to add a point on what India could have done better. Not much. Maybe there were a few things they can tighten up. With Harshit Rana, even in the 2025 IPL, what I've seen is in his first over itself, he provides width 2-3 times. And from there, it becomes difficult for him because in your first over itself, if you end up giving 10-12 runs, then it becomes difficult to make a comeback, especially for an inexperienced pacer. Maybe for a very experienced pacer, you can make a comeback, but not so, because for an inexperienced pacer like Harshit Rana, Maybe a couple of batters, if they get a little bit of game time, I think they will do better. Other than that, I don't see much of a problem. And I've already said that I don't think Washington Sundar being selected at number 8 or whatever it is, number 7, because he's not a finisher and he's not someone who's going to be big threat with his off spin. I don't think his selection he needs to be selected in one day cricket in the playing 11.
Gargi, you want to say something on Shubman Gill getting this kind of hate?
If I start saying something, then people will say we are PR. Where do we stop? Stop. Where do
What
we
is the
start?
name of your agency?
How much money are you getting? Tell us.
I already told one guy simply asked, one troll asked, how much money are you getting? I just wrote 10000000000. It became very much viral. Yes, I'm getting money. What is the problem? I just said and wrote 100000000. It went some 15 zeros. I wrote.
We have to earn some way or the other, right? So much to take care of. Come on, he's running a company.
Narrative Virat Rohit bigger than the game. They are creating toxic environment. बाप रे कॉन्स्पिरेसी थियरी फैला रहे ब्रेन वॉश ये कौन है भाई ये कौन लोग हैं कौन इडियट है यहाँ पे कि टॉक्सिक एनवायरनमेंट फैला रहे ये लोग Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma having popcorn chatting about cricket is one of the best things to happen in Indian cricket. Former captain, current captain sitting chatting. Where is this conspiracy theory toxic environment आ गया ये किसने देखा कहाँ से देखा मुझे तो भाई नहीं दिख रहा है गार्गी आपको दिख रहा है क्या
मुझे भी नहीं दिख रहा है यार
Rohit and Virat should get fair home series. What versus South Africa? Time has come to an end. Jaiswal and Tilak should replace. आज जायसवाल खेलता ना 5 पे आउट हो जाता तो लोग बोलते अरे इसीलिए जायसवाल को मत खिलाओ विराट एंड रोहित को खिलाना चाहिए था.
It never stops. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So might as well just go out.
The player warming the bench is always better. That is a old idiom in cricket.
The grass is always greener on the other side. Absolutely correct. Bharat sir is turning Kapil Sharma today. Good comment. Good comment. That's a genuinely good comment. DLS players side Nizamuddin. Even in Adelaide, you can't put 300 easily. Pakistan is the only side. Adelaide against Australia, they lost the game. What is this? Given the rain threat fact, we batted first. Shouldn't there have been an aggressive strategy at the start? Aggressive strategy? देखो आ गया गिल PR. ये देखो गार्गी बोरियादा आपने गार्गी बोरियादा you guys are doing pro bono Gill PR.
No, he's being sarcastic. He's being sarcastic. He's on my side, I think.
Jangam Vishwanatham, GG always try to shuffling playing 11. Why is? Please talk about this.
It's not about shuffling. It's not about shuffling. I know what they're trying to say. Ki aksar in front of KL and everything else that happened. Look, we know two philosophies here that the Indian management goes with. One is the left-right combination. We know that for a fact that will happen no matter what game it is, no matter who the opposition is. Number two, and Gambhir has spoken about this extensively. And Ryan and Doskate as well in Dubai. I remember that press conference very well. That number 3 to number 7, we are only picking batters who can bat anywhere. It does not matter. No matter where you're asked to bat, you will have to bat because it's a team first approach. Whatever the team needs, you will have to deliver. So it's not about shuffling batters just to make sure that they don't do well. What kind of a concept is that? What logic is that, guys?
But that is where
I've now understood the reason. Manikpreet Singh has hit the ball out of the park. 2 reasons why India lost. Shubhandar series cover karne gaye hai, and Travis said Rev Sports hasn't gone to cover the series. He's the lucky charm of India. Now we know why India has lost. इसके ऊपर कोई आंसर नहीं होता है. अरे बाप रे, Rev Sports on गंभीर पेरोल, ये भी कहां से आ गया?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
Why but I only said a point. If it is fine.
मेरे पास इतना पैसा है नहीं कि हमें पैसा देगा, और मेरे पास तो क्या बोले यार, छोड़ दो भाई. अगर ज्यादा दिया होता तो 20 लोगों को भेज देते, 2 को नहीं भेजते. इतना बोल सकता हूँ. चलो, 55 people are now on our payroll. Would have sent 20 to Australia. कम पैसे में तो बिकेंगे नहीं. At least 20-25 करोड़ दिया होता एक सीरीज के लिए तो सोच सकते थे, उसके पहले नहीं हो सकता. Today India loses because Rohit Gill, Virat, Iyer only 29 runs. Obviously the batting didn't do well. Yes, Sharma, fair question. Don't you think it was unfair? That's how cricket is. Gargi, you want to take this, or Bharat? It's unfair that we started our innings with 50 over cricket and ended with T10. Australians are having advantage. What kind of laws are this? Unfair. Bharat.
That is how sometimes sport works. You can't do much about it. See, Hazelwood and Stark ended up bowling 13 overs out of 26 because it was first a 50-over game, then it was a 36-over game, 32. But these things you can't do much. Maybe the Australians, I have a gut feeling that Australians knew that it would be a stop-start kind of a match, and that is why they ended up giving more and more overs to Stark and Hazelwood, and they ended up bowling 13 overs, which basically goes against the Indian team because it started as a 50 over a side contest. But occasionally that is how it works. So, for example, in the 92 World Cup, I can give you an example. England had bowled out Pakistan for 74. Then, because of that stupid rain rule that was around at that time, finally England had to chase down 40 runs in 8 overs. They had already played some 6 overs or something on those lines. That rain rule, fortunately, was taken off, removed. But because of that, suddenly they had to chase 40 in 8 overs. It didn't make any sense. It completely went against the batting team that was chasing. So sometimes it happens in sport. You just have to move on.
श्रीराम चिराग, 20 लोग इंग्लैंड गए थे ना यार, 20 लोगों को ले जाने का पैसा तो मेरे पास ही है, 55 लोगों को ले जाते, चिंता मत करो. एज आई सेड, 20-25 करोड़ गंभीर दिया होता तो सोच लेते, उसके कम में तो होता नहीं है. 200-300 करोड़ के बात करो ना, तब सोचेंगे. उसके कम से बाकी तो मेरे पास ही है, चिंता मत करो. Is India versus West Indies? Some commentators were giving the series 3-0 where they are now. I don't think it was ever 3-0. It was always going to be competitive in Australia. If anybody thought that game one, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, or for that matter, anybody in Perth conditions would have come and waltzed their way through, they were living in a make-believe world. This is Australia starting with Mitch Stark and Josh Hazelwood, two of the greatest bowlers of all time, not just now. And out of the 26 overs, Bharat was spot on when he said those two bowlers bowled 13 of the 26 overs. And that tells you a story. That tells you a story. शोमिकदा होते तो नेगेटिव कमेंट्स वालों का सर्वनाश कर देते. गुड कमेंट फ्रॉम फिट मंक. गार्गी, शोमिकदा होते तो नेगेटिव कमेंट्स का सर्वनाश कर देते.
That's just how he was on fire in the mid innings show as well. These days he's really found his mojo. I don't remember exactly, but he was taking on trolls. Someone said why was it was about KL Rahul coming down the order or something and not doing well. Ye wo. Acha, ha, right. The question was KL Rahul did not do well, even though he was the highest scorer in the team and held together that partnership with Akshar Patel. And Shomik said, I don't even want to answer to this comment.
That's good form. Shomik was in the Bangla live today. So, बाकी फंड गंभीर ने सैंक्शन नहीं किया. अरे कर देगा, जब करेगा तब सोचेंगे, अभी तुम छोड़ो. It was rainy match. Yes, it was. बोरियादा, क्या टॉस मेजर एडिलेड में भी हो सकता है? I think एडिलेड में भी थोड़ा सा बारिश है. I was checking the weather forecast for Wednesday. Not as bad as today, but I think there is some rain predicted for Adelaide also. By the way, the press conference is obviously on, but it cannot be put on social media. So Shubhan will report on it. Gargi will put it out once Shubhan and Rohit send their report. So that's about it. We should have played Mohammad Shami. He would have been good in this condition. Where did Mohammad Shami come from? Yesterday he was man of the match, and that augurs very well for India. If that continues in the Ranji Trophy right through the season, the 7-wicket haul yesterday, and by the way, Saurav Ganguly was telling me that he bowled very, very well. Mohammad Shami, Akash Deep said he was bowling terrifically well yesterday, Mohammad Shami, in the second innings, 4 wickets in that Ranji Trophy game. Okay. Shubhanda will be more busy after Sydney match. Don't know why. Gargi, Harshit Rana, Akshar Patel, any of the bowlers you want to talk about it a bit? Arshdeep Singh, I thought started pretty well. Bharat, Gargi, any thoughts on Arshdeep Singh at the start?
Bharat is the HDD expert.
No. As I have noted, the one point I have against Harshit Rana is even the 2025 IPL. in the first over itself, he will offer width a couple of times. So what happens is, even the 2025 IPL, his first over would go for 10, 12, 15 runs. After that, it is always going to be hard for an inexperienced pace bowler to make a comeback, and that exactly happened today as well. He offered width a couple of times, and his first over went for 10, 12 runs. From there on, it was always going to be hard. So hopefully, with experience, he will learn it, because he does extract movement off the seam. That is something to note. So if you really compare the two tall fast bowlers in this squad, Prasidh and Harshit gets, I think, more movement off the seam, while other one perhaps gets more bounce out of the two from a slightly fuller length. So that is something that goes well with Harshit, but I think he has to really get tighter with his lines. He offers width from over number one. Arshdeep Singh, yes, he swung the ball nicely. He brings the left arm angle into the equation, and with a new ball, he can be quite useful in these conditions, with the white ball doing a little bit, maybe moisture around. And yes, Mohammad Siraj, two bowled reasonably well. He has found the outswinger again. He's rediscovered it, and then he has that wobble seam. But to be fair to India's pace bowlers, they didn't have much going for them, because in 26 overs, 131 runs, 10 wickets in hand, you expect any good team to chase it down unless they press some kind of panic button.
Absolutely correct. Gargi, were you a little upset, worried seeing the Shreyas Iyer dismissal? Kind of reflective of that issue with the ball that comes up, short ball down that side, cramping him up. He will get these kind of wickets in World Cup 27. Is that a bit of an issue, or no? Because he's improved against the short ball also. Home conditions, one doesn't really bother about Shreyas.
He has improved quite a bit. I think he has shown a lot of improvement with the short ball. But again, the kind of conditions that the pitch was offering today, it was quite tricky, especially with the bounce, especially with the bowlers bowling consistent lines. If you compare them to the Indian bowlers, I think the Indian bowlers were a lot more inconsistent compared to the Australian bowlers. So again, it is a bit of a concern, but will I say that he deserves to be dropped over this? I don't think so. He will be tested throughout this Australia series. This is his time to show that he can take on deliveries like that he can take on bounce and the shorter deliveries. Otherwise, because if he doesn't do it in Australia, then there's really no other place to do it.
Okay, so that's about it. One or two more questions. And why don't you criticize Gambhir and his team combination? Except the Kuldeep Yadav call, I don't think there was anything to criticize. I don't think India played a bad team. Maybe a Washington Sundar, Kuldeep Yadav. That's the only problem. Otherwise, there was nothing to criticize whatsoever, Sriram. So there's no question of criticizing unnecessarily. Bharat, take this. Both, especially VK, retired premature. They won't drag like SRT. They won us recent CT. Let's give them 9 ODIs. They'll play IPL enough to judge for. Bharat.
See, obviously they will play a few matches. Let us queue 9 ODIs, then they will play IPL. Yeah. See, Virat Kohli is someone, I don't think he's ever been out of form when it comes to ODI cricket. Even when he was out of form in Test cricket, he was scoring runs in ODIs, and on flatter wickets, slightly flatter wickets. Even in this series, you expect him to come good. And even Rohit Sharma got a 70 odd in the Champions Trophy final. He looks fitter. Actually, today he looked better than what he has done right through the 2024-25 summer. I'm not saying he looked great in those conditions, but compared to how Rohit Sharma went up against Australia in the Test series, or for the matter in that Test series against New Zealand or Bangladesh, he was activating his back foot quite quickly, and that is why he was able to move across and cover his off stump. Unfortunately, got a very good delivery. So they will be around. I think they will be around. Both of them expect them to have that hunger to continue for a while longer in ODI cricket, and the management will look at it over a period of time.
And Sita, just on SRT, I mean, the match before his retirement test, he went to Lali and scored a 79 in one of the most difficult batting conditions of all, where your Virat and Rohit Sharma, or for that matter, any of these current players would struggle for even 10. We know that if the ball moves these days, what happens to current players. So Sachin Tendulkar is 20 times above Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, or for that matter, anybody that you've seen in recent times. So let's not compare Tendulkar to anyone as far as red ball cricket is concerned. White ball you can still do, but red ball, Tendulkar is 20 times higher than anyone. That Lali game ahead of his retirement test match is evidential proof. Boria sir, word on women's match, feeling nervous. हाफ के जी काजू बर्फी खाली है, ये तो सवाल गार्गी को पूछना है. गार्गी, हाफ के जी काजू बर्फी में कितना कैलोरीज होता है?
Too many is the answer.
So आप हाफ के
You
जी
should
खा
not be
सकते
eating half kg kaju katli in one go.
How many are allowed? Two pieces.
Half ya ek.
One. And half kg में कितना आता है? 25-30 तो.
Yeah, पता नहीं. I haven't had one in a very long time.
Oh, देखो, she's not had one and free. Who's this? Fit Monk. You've had half a kilo, so must be around 25-30 or 20 at least. Sir, if we have fair 9 ODIs IPL following, do you think both will still not be able to peak and in their best format BCCI fair? Of course they will score. Give them 9 games. South Africa at home, England thereafter, New Zealand at home. Of course they'll score. From what I saw of Rohit today, he'll score. So will Virat. Of course they'll score. I didn't see anything today to say they will not score. And if after 9 games they don't score, then obviously overlook them. But based on this, nothing. Somebody says 15-20. But thoughts on the women's game? Trisha and Snehashish will join Gargi in the mid innings. That is why we haven't done anything on the women's game. But England kind of taking control here. 194 for 2. Heather Knight batting brilliantly on 76 and Nat Silverbrandt on 30, relatively slowish. But this is a 300 score now, Gargi, and England gets 300. India bat a shot. They're playing 6 bowlers. It can become very, very tough. Gargi and Bharat, closing comments.
How to go?
Did you take the super chat?
Okay. I took this. I know I took this.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. About women's cricket. Okay. About see the women's match, what I can say is England have, I think, played to plan. They were kind of struggling in spin bowling. So what they have done is their opener set a platform. Even someone like Tammy Bemo didn't really play a lot of shots, 20 to 43 balls, and that really set the platform for Knight and Skyver who are easily 2 of their best players. So yes, if England get to something like 320 or whatever, I think India might just flounder again because I'm not very sure about this team under pressure that they have it in them to come good and chase it down. Of course, they might prove me wrong and just script a heist today.
So he talks about a heist. Gargi, 196, getting a bit difficult with Heather Knight and Nat Silverbrandt out there.
It will be difficult. It'll be very difficult for India to take this one. I'm just trying to look at the score here.
196 for 2, 37 point something.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of runs to score. Against England still batting. 201 for 2 right now.
Yeah, 300. That's what I told you. No, it can be a 300 score because
it absolutely can
Bharat
be.
Was right. Sneh was bowling well. I thought Deepti should have been brought at that point in time when Charani went for 16 of the first 2. Wasn't bowling well. Charani one was way outside off. The other was short. Amy Jones easily hit them for a couple of boundaries. That's when the pressure was released. At one point, England was scoring at 4.5. Then Heather Knight took control. This is definitely a 300 plus score at this point. Having said that, Indore, total batting wicket. 300 can be chased down. India one batter short is my concern. Gargi, are you giving India a chance? If India doesn't win, New Zealand versus India becomes a knockout. Imagine you going out in your home World Cup without making the semi-final. All hell will break loose.
That will be a tough pill to swallow. Because when this Women's World Cup started, we all said that this is the team's 1983 moment. And unfortunately, none of that has happened. We haven't seen any strong performances or any dominant performances whatsoever. When it comes to today's game, though, England is going incredibly strong. I do see 300 being scored here, and I do not see India chasing it. With the kind of batting that we've seen throughout this tournament, I just don't think that India is strong enough to chase this down. Smriti is doing well. Harmanpreet is still, figuring out. She's still looking out for rhythm, but at the same time, I don't think India has the firepower to chase down a 300 run total. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Maybe I'm the only optimist here. I'm still giving the Indians a chance. Let's see. Bharat
Just
and
a
Gargi.
small, just a
Yeah, Bharat.
couple of words. She's talked about 1983 World Cup moment. Hopefully, it won't turn out to be 1987 World Cup moment when at least India reached the semis, but they ended up bowling, ended up giving away Graham Gooch a lot of sweep shots and no fine leg.
I vividly remember that game because the final was in Kolkata and I had clubhouse tickets, lower tier, first row. Eventually ended up watching Tim Robinson getting bowled. But yes, Bharat, don't remind me. बोरियादा रिक्वेस्ट है इंडियन फैंस से, शुभानंदा को अगला मैच कवर करने से रोक दो वरना सीरीज हार जाएंगे हम प्लीज, और जीत गए फिर प्रूव हो जाएगा कि शुभानंदा के लिए कुछ गड़बड़ है. अरे भाई शुभान बहुत अच्छा लड़का है, छोड़ो
They're
यार.
willing to put Shubhayan's career on the line just so India wins the series.
And ये गार्गी का प्रॉब्लम ये प्रोवोक करती रहती है. I mean ये बेकार है, छोड़ो ये दोनों बदमाश है, मत करो. शुभान is a good kid. All of these kids are good. Are we taking ODIs lightly? चलो खत्म करते हैं शो. On the note that Indian women are on the cosh a little bit, under the pump. Something dramatic has to happen and happen fast. You lose this one, the Diwali will not be that pleasant tomorrow for at least Indian women. This game, the men's game, I'm not reading too much into it. As far as others, Tanvi, runner-up, Satwik Chirag losing out yesterday. So the last day and a half has not been the best for Indian cricket in any way. So let's get some momentum back. Let's see something happen for India as far as the women's game is concerned on that note. Gargi, Bharat, thank you for joining us to everyone. Come on, love Shubhan because he's a good kid of mine. We will come back with more, plenty more. Gargi, what time are you guys back? During the luncheon break, the dinner break for the women's game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mid-innings.
Thank you very much for watching. All the very best to everybody.